you say we just go for a little bit of a ride? Thanks to SoCalJerry, we're in New Zealand. Well, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that we've got our career mode up and running. We're earning some passive incomes. Things are looking good, just about as good as New Zealand is right about now. Look at the dynamic topography we got going in here. We're bringing in the new year. Right about here. Thanks to SoCalJerry. Hopefully we get to see him tonight. It would be a little bit sad if I didn't. I do know that I'm getting a pretty late start on this. However, it has been a day. So here we are. We're just going to take a little cruise around, and maybe you guys can just enjoy some of the scenery. And, of course, you're always welcome to join in at any time. Just let me know. We're on the West USA server. Come on by. We'll go for a fly. Has anyone else noticed this little thing right here on the side of this aircraft? Anything wrong with that picture? Is it just me, or is that supposed to say tourist? Touris. This is not a word. I'm just saying. enjoy the autumn colors. Yes, SoCalJerry, not only am I live now, but you're the reason I'm in New Zealand. What? Yes, sir. We're here because of you. And the fact that you're the first person in chat today just says everything about everything. Good to see you, good sir. Yeah, I just loaded in. I'm just about November Zulu, Juliet 8 Echo. EFB up here. No apologies at all. You're literally in the description of this video. It's pretty awesome. That's so great that you're stopping by just before New Year's as we celebrate. It's pretty great, my man. I guess it's just meant to be. I mean, we might as well just get everybody in. High lifter in SoCal, I mean, it would be like a reunion. We might as well just get everybody. There he is. They're in SoCal, I mean, it would be like a reunion. Say that one more time. It is a great reunion.
Okay.
You are breaking up a little bit, but I do have you.
Just went back here a little bit. Should be a little better, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you hear me now, so I'm going to turn down the audio on YouTube. I hadn't even hadn't looked for it. I glanced earlier and didn't see it. I was like, not every day. And off flying in Switzerland and flying some neat places there too.
Very cool.
Including I'll call it a gondola that was being pulled up and down the mountain.
A whole convoy?
No, a gondola, like on a cable.
Really, it was actually being pulled up and down the mountain.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
In Switzerland.
You could see the cables. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Gentlemen.
pretty awesome. Good evening, sir.
How you doing, guys?
Real good, how are you?
Where you flying at tonight?
We just dropped into New Zealand a little while ago.
All right.
SoCal's talking about some Switzerland, and gondolas actually going up and down the mountains, though, so we might have to venture out there, too. But I figured...
They found some modeled in.
Yeah.
Nice.
You could see the cables running and everything else. You could actually slide with it in flat pitch.
Super cool. Yeah, this airport literally puts you into the woods. I do have my passive income finally working, and man, I got into it with the forums over the last couple of days, and man, there's some conflicting information out there, and some of the conversation that I was having there was just downright funny. Yeah, you're breaking up quite a bit there too, Keith.
Yeah, sorry.
I basically had a guy in the forums who was not really reading the entire description in regards to whether or not you're going to be earning passive income as an employee or freelancer and how that all works on the back end and the math of it, and how that little total flight time of 10 minutes never really changes, and the math just doesn't add up. And he starts talking about how they're using rounding to get to these numbers, and I'm like, well, listen, you got 3 aircraft there that say they've all flown for an hour each. That should be 3 hours, not 10 minutes. And he goes, oh, I didn't see that. I'm like, that's like part of the post, my man. Yeah, it's pretty great. And he's just screaming that it's not a bug. You're just not understanding the math. And I'm like, wait a minute. It's not a bug. Okay. Pretty great though, and there is a little bit of some clarification whether you're supposed to be earning income as an employee or freelancer. If you're, say, in your career mode and you want to earn passive income, what flights should you be doing, employee or freelancer? And according to Microsoft, if you only have 1 aircraft in your company, you can fly, or I should say you should be able to fly as an employee, and then your 1 aircraft that belongs to your company will earn passive income. That is supposed to be how it works, but that is a bug in and of itself. So there's kind of conflicting information still on whether or not you're supposed to be getting passive income from both employee and freelancer, and I'm seeing that I have. It's tracking
Yeah,
both.
I was able to.
It just seems to be like at a different percentage.
You
still in New Zealand?
Yep. Pretty interesting conversation, though. And I mean, day one, I should probably take that thumbnail down here, huh? The whole time we're just flying around. I absolutely love when I do that. Oh man, you think
First
I knew
10
it.
minutes. It's something that will,
That was day one of passive income, and then we came into day 2 and made quite a bit more money. And it is mathing it out a little bit better there. It's kind of dividing it up evenly between the aircraft and not necessarily keeping track, but it's there. That was probably a good 10 minutes into the video while the thumbnail was up. I love it.
oh, okay. Maybe 10 times about it.
It's the introduction.
SoCal's breaking up, but you're sounding good, Sar, for some reason.
Thanks, sir. Yeah, I've been noticing actually both of you once in a while will kind of like bounce back and forth from being clear to broken.
You're still in New Zealand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I had you, but it's not showing up. Let me check my settings.
I love these autumn colors, man. I did come across some kangaroo earlier.
Mhm.
Again, they were on the airport.
Yeah. Well, can you do something about this?
Just 20 of them on somewhere in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're breaking up something fierce.
Hold on.
You could head over to a different airfield too, just in case Keith wants to come into an airport that's not a forest. I even submitted something regarding this tourist thing because I think it's kind of funny. Is it tourist discoveries or tourist? Because tourist in word. It's just good stuff.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be getting an update in a week or two.
Yes, indeed. Should be a rather sizable one at that.
Gosh.
Lately, within the search and rescue missions, I've been getting just a ridiculous amount of ATC bugs, where it's a flight path where it's got you on runway 11 in the EFB, and then the first thing that ATC says to you is taxi to helipad 1. You're like, alright, I should follow ATC, that's what a pilot does. Nope. So I found that if you just stick to your EFB's flight plan, you're going to wind up in a much better position. And I think a little flight seeing company on the side wasn't a bad idea either. Something relaxing to kind of do in between instead of the longer flights. I still haven't tried the sim rate decrease during those missions though, but I'm just going to hand fly them in real time and call it a day. Using autopilot when I can. Any big plans for the new year?
Not me.
Me either.
There's more landing capacity. Better airfield for look at the field out there too, so it should be better.
Yeah, that audio's breaking up real good.
I gotta change that sets. I tried one thing, but well, because that one will allow you to charge phone using it, which turned itself off. So
Yeah, my mic is actually the same way.
I've done Hover there, people here, something like that. So reverse like e-hammer and chart this thing.
through.
Good or bad?
Go down the mountains a little bit. November Zulu Foxtrot Oscar. I tried to load in my Huey today with zero success. Actually, nothing third party seems to be working at this point for me. I did get another message from Microsoft that they were reloading my 2020 content, which I thought was interesting because that's the 5th time I've seen that message. Because I'd really like to be whipping around in a Huey right now like we got here on the pad. There's High Lifter. Let's go for a ride, gentlemen.
I'll get that.
Negative on comms. SoCal's just in a pause right there. Trying to work on that headset.
No. Let's keep talking. Let's keep talking.
Huh.
Check.
Negative.
Just talking. It's saying audio bug.
Looks like a pretty good-sized glacier. This place is pretty fantastic too. Looks like everybody's back at the airport. Chugging to get back up that hill. Whew. Elevation. I'm gonna invite one more time for SoCal. Go ahead and lead the way there, High Lifter. You got this. We'll just keep you in the view for now. See if I can't keep up.
Testing, testing.
Gotcha.
Alright.
5x5.
Yeah, so you can't change an input device in flight or while the game's really loaded. There's no microphone ones.
Very interesting. Kind of makes sense.
With the menus even, it said change device, and it didn't show it. So
Without even prompting you for like a restart.
yeah, it didn't say anything. It just said nah.
Hmm.
One might call it a bug. One might call it a feature.
Definitely something to point out, though. He's back. While I'm thinking about it, I should probably check my fuel gauge.
It's a neat little trick of selling a fuel before you take off.
That's a handy little one right there.
Make some cash.
It's not a lot of coin, but it's something.
Well, I'm curious if you do that and then abort the mission if you keep the cash.
It's pretty nuts. I'm sure that won't be there for long.
Yeah.
They're gonna catch on to it, but why not use it while we can?
Yep.
I've tried to avoid kind of doing some of those things over the last couple of flights that I've done,
Yeah.
just to see if maybe it would be causing any further bugs, and I think it might be related to the ATC versus EFB bugs. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, it's still fun to play with. Nice. And I've actually changed one more settings in my graphics that I think has greatly improved stuttering. And I don't know exactly how it got turned back on, but the VSync was checked.
Yeah.
So as soon as I unchecked VSync, I was right back to smooth sailing. And for some reason, every time I try to change the size of my cache, it freezes.
I wonder if they're going to release some guidance on recommendations as far as that.
Yeah, as far as which files can be cleaned regularly and which ones shouldn't.
Or how big of a cache to put in place.
Right. Well, I think that really depends on kind of how much you're transitioning from one location to the next.
Yeah.
And I keep mine pretty big. It's 80 when I can set it.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can perch at a peak. Sinking good, coming down. Don't know how I pulled that out. Turned myself into a toboggan on purpose.
Yeah.
You guys tried the Neo Fly yet?
No. What is it?
It's basically a third-party mission set. They're coming out with some third-party content pretty quickly, actually. That's what's up. The swarm. Tourists. Good recommendation, SoCal.
Gorgeous, man. Keep seeing it in movies and such as a country or TV shows. I'm like, wow, that looks like that would be good flying.
Yeah. And there's so much more to the island that is we haven't even touched yet. We're literally just like Central Island right now on the west side.
Yeah.
Keep coming down this though. Some of these, like out by November Zulu Charlie Hotel, there's a section there that's kind of like a little knob that sticks out of the island that almost looks man-made, but it's not.
Hmm.
It's like a clover leaf or something.
Yeah, I don't know how people get bored just looking at this planet we're on, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. There's so much to see. Got to appreciate the work they're putting in. It's just simply remarkable.
Yeah.
Look at the colors we're getting on the top of these mountains right here. It's almost like an aqua.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my visual settings must be different than yours because I'm getting a whole lot different cloud cover than you are.
Yeah, I have my live weather turned off, which is also kind of helping the graphics and everything.
Yeah.
And I just kind of have a preset on.
I'm seeing like low clouds below some of these mountain peaks.
Again, by just like turning off as many of the live settings as I possibly can,
Yeah.
really helps with the performance of the sim.
Who would have guessed?
Because you could still make it look nice, but just not rely on live data.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause this is looking good.
Yeah, I was fiddling with it the other day and just going, okay, what's it like flying at a 90-mile-an-hour wind?
90-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah. And, I mean, the helicopter would have, self-destructed, I'm sure. But at different elevations from like 20 feet up to about 1,000 feet. And I had winds going in different directions, different velocities, just to see what it became like going through essentially thermals, or, what do you want to call it? From like 30 miles an hour to, 45, and it jumped up to 90. Whoa.
Crazy. Where was
But
that?
Some fun. Well, I just did it near me, Southern California, because that way I'm familiar with the terrain more. But, yeah, he would have killed everybody, broken the helicopter.
I did wind up in a night op as well in the good old-fashioned Pilatus.
Yeah?
I left the time go and just did it in real time. It was one of those 6.5-hour medevac flights, and I wound up landing at night.
Did it take you 6.5 hours, or?
I was actually a little bit over 5.5.
Ah,
I had a pretty good tailwind, but nothing happened in it. There was no medical emergency in the back of the plane at any point. So yeah, I just put that thing on autopilot and did some other things while the sim did its thing.
made sure your fuel didn't go to zero.
No, I did the fuel thing and then reloaded the fuel when I was back on the tarmac blind. You know, just dark and cold. I had no glitches with the mission whatsoever either. The thing that sucked about it though was the runway that they brought me in on was an extremely short runway. And it kind of just went off into what looked to be a continuation of the runway with gravel. But it wasn't. And then it's, you're not supposed to land here. Yeah. I was like, son of a gun, but I still wound up getting the S rating on it too. It was pretty cool. Barely had room to touchdown. And those missions pay out pretty good on an employee side.
Yeah.
Love it.
Did you spend an hour or so flying around New Zealand before you decided to do a live tonight, or?
No. I tried a couple of times to just get the Huey loaded in. I was going to do this flight with Hueys instead, but I was just saying no. We could be Huey, Dewey, and Louie at this point.
I don't have a Huey model.
You don't?
Nope.
Well, apparently I don't either. Even though it does show up in the marketplace as something that is quote-unquote streamed, it never shows up in the hangar.
Did you click the checkbox or whatever there is to load it or enable it?
Yep, and even did the sim restart after that, and it still doesn't show up.
Yeah. That's what happens when playing an alpha of the game, right?
I guess.
Think how well this thing's going to run in a couple years.
I think it's not even going to take that long, honestly. 6 months.
They have a lot of lessons learned from the previous system. I would expect that most of those are going to carry it over.
I hope, because I think that should have happened already at this point. Like, there's a few of these things that, like the word tourist on a plane. I mean, we're talking about Microsoft. You guys don't even use spell check. And I mean, there's some of the stuff that's just so small and minor math. How do you not know that 1 hour is 1 hour, not 10 minutes?
Yeah.
But that's just minor stuff. If it takes 6 months, I'd be shocked.
How about missions enabling correctly all the time? That'd be nice.
That's the one that's going to take a while. Because I think what they need to do is break that down by airport.
Yeah. And that's where you want the AI to help them out.
With some oversight, but yeah, definitely give AI the head start.
That's a lot of manual work otherwise.
They may have modeled, what was it, 160 airports, but there's a whole lot more than that on the planet.
Yeah. There's a whole lot more that are mission enabled too.
Yep. There's more mission enabled than there are modeled.
Yeah.
Some of them shouldn't be mission enabled.
Understatement.
Right. Or like the airport we originally flew out of for this fly.
Yeah. Yeah. Start pin or whatever should not be under a grove of trees.
Generally, it's just a rule of thumb.
For a helicopter, at least.
Right.
If you're doing a motorcycle, that's fine.
Maybe a drone.
Yeah.
The size of like a DJI, not the ones they have in
Yeah.
Civ.
Like an Aspire or something.
Yeah.
Not a Predator.
I haven't seen any mountain goats running up and down these things yet.
Yeah, I was flying in Switzerland and I think I came across some that buzzed really fast. It's pretty much a max velocity for the H-125 and pretty much buzzed them at 4 feet over a cliff basically, and there's 10 of them.
Hmm?
Well, there we go. That'll wake them up.
It's not a chopper. It's an alarm clock.
Imagine what they're going to do this trip. Real high-res photos of this going on. I was quite disappointed that I went and flew around to Orlando and Disney World and all that. I kind of expected more.
Looks really bad down there, doesn't it?
Well, for one of the most photographed places on Earth, I think they could have gotten some images for, real cheap to overqualify that area. So.
100%. I feel the same way about Chicago.
Yeah.
The buildings in Chicago are just awful.
Yeah. Well, I will say though, if you look at what I saw earlier, the Alps, the Matterhorn of all things, I'm pretty sure it was the Matterhorn. There were custom buildings and all of the gondola, all that stuff that was there, and just they were not generic building 1, generic building 2 for sure.
Very cool. Was that a world update that they pushed with their first?
I don't think so. But it was things that was pointed out as points of interest on the map. So
Gotcha. Yeah,
Like
some
it is,
areas have a
yeah.
lot of density of those and others don't.
yeah,
Like, there's quite a few here in Queensland. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
But to see the gondolas moving, that's pretty cool. They did the same thing in 2020 with the cranes on the California coast.
Hmm.
You can go up to the large shipping container docks, and you would
Really?
see the cranes actually unloading and loading the boats.
It must be a graphics update I never got in 2020.
Huh. That was actually pretty cool. I was quite surprised to see that.
Because every time I fly through LA in 2020, it's like, this is just depressing.
I still haven't been through the Grand Canyon in 24 yet.
Never mind.
I've just seen it so many times and all of the pre-launch and all that stuff. It was like, yeah, why bother? Someday.
You know, if it's finished, if they actually loaded that version they were showing. It's obvious they didn't do some other things, you know.
Right.
Anime comes to mind. Oh, this marshy look, the silt and all that.
Yeah, and the color variations between the different routes.
Yeah.
It would be nice if it was all kind of modeled as water, but some of it is mostly just photogrammetry.
Yeah. Mesopotamia Station airstrip off to our right, 2-point-something miles. It's an
Mesopotamia.
odd place. Part of the world for that.
That's New November Zulu Papa Lima.
Very wide. And looks like glaciers or something like that came through here.
Definitely, I think that's what wiped it flat.
Yeah.
Keith coming in.
These hills are completely different than the mountains we just left.
100%. Covered in grass.
Yeah. Just,
Brand new
if you
landscape.
don't like the scenery, just hold on a couple minutes.
Yeah.
should be able to see more animals without all the trees too.
Yeah, you'd think. Some of the search and rescue missions in California are bringing you into the redwood forests, and those are interesting to look at.
I've been there, but I mean, there's no ability to hoist down. The trees are too damn tall.
The one that I've done a couple of times now is right next to a little lake.
Oh, okay.
Everything else I'll kind of avoid.
Yeah.
But the one next to the lake, there's a spot that's just big enough for the rotor arc on the beach.
Yeah. I've been up there in real life.
I have not.
Trees are too damn tall and too clustered together to pull anybody out vertically.
Yeah, there's no way. Unless you're going
Unless you have
to park at some kind of parking lot and walk in.
Yeah. Walk a half mile in. Since I reconnected, I haven't heard a peep from Highlifter.
I don't know, he's just cruising. And now it's another completely different set.
Yeah.
Instead of the green, lush grass, now we got some brown, not necessarily rock, a little bit of snow.
Yeah. Scenery, give it a minute. Visiting New Zealand so hard because you want to see all this, but it's expensive to see this in real life.
I would take. Yeah, I would go through some lengths to be able to get out here. Now we're into the farming. It's pretty great.
I let my daughter fly the day when she was here, and she's like intentionally crashed the H-125 and got it inverted in the lake. She goes, "Why can't I see under the water?" Because you're dead. She's like, "They didn't model it?" I'm like, "Not yet, at least. Maybe they will. I don't know."
We haven't ventured into scuba diving in the flight simulator just yet.
Yeah. Or I was more thinking submarining.
Yes. There is a submarine heliport somewhere I've come across. There's a herd of animals down here. What the hell were these? Looks like cows to me.
ATC is still trying to tell me what to do. And off, fine. In the US, we would just plant some grass out here, put some holes and little flags and call it a golf course.
For sure.
New Zealand's like, no? I mean, that. Nice me the other day flying with the guy from Reunion Island.
Air
Tour
boss?
he's given.
Air boss man?
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Good friend of the channel. Love that guy.
How incredible. How slim were those odds that would happen?
Extremely. Razor thin.
The day we happen to be there, he happens to load in. Turn on YouTube and see what's going on.
Yep.
Third airstrip here. It's well marked enough at least. Like some that we've seen.
That's kind of drawn in.
Big action.
Yeah, I could make that out. For the most part.
What does bounce look like? This hill from the bottom looks very California mountain or hill.
Absolutely. With that,
I've driven past some of this in the Central Coast area.
it's like the rainwater sort of erosion. Sandstone, kind of.
A little bit of green.
For good measure. I'd still like to see if we could just randomly find people from each one of these places that we visit to like give us the guided tour.
Funny. Probably have to do a little more coordination though, you know?
Just a little bit. And I might
Grow the channel a little bit more, get a couple thousand members, you know?
yeah. And maybe have a little bit more time on my hands to make all of that happen.
Well, you know, yeah, something like that. Get rid of the pesky day job.
Yeah, who needs it? It's just a great big thorn in my side anyway. I'm just kidding. Actually, I would trade my job for anything. I love what I do.
But it's easier to wake up in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
SoCal's kept you up till 3 in the morning or something like that.
Well, I usually get the 4:30 wake-up call, so.
Ooh. That is early.
Well, we're usually done and on our way home by 3:30.
Nice. I'm redeeming value on getting up early.
It has its benefits. You miss all the traffic.
But working at a school would suck.
Now we're getting to some thicker trees.
Not a high elevation. I mean, 2,200 feet is nothing.
It does certainly have some ups and downs.
Like gorgeous countryside to explore.
Definitely better than Illinois.
There's still a lot more going on geography-wise than Illinois does.
See, but there are spots in Illinois way down south that are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Garden of the Gods specifically, Fern Cliff, areas like that where those areas used to be underwater, and some of the rock formations down there are pretty remarkable, but it's all the way at the very southern tip of the state.
Hmm.
You get a couple of interesting things along the Mississippi too, like the Mississippi Palisades. It's an interesting spot to visit. Apple River Canyon is another good one. But much more small in scale compared to the entire island.
Yeah. And the variety of the autumn colors, the snow peaks.
A little bit of everything.
And I'm curious if in different seasons you won't see those upfront colors, but you'll see just green.
Oh, I'm sure.
If all that is timed and such for the tree population. Speaking of more orange here.
A lot more.
Their fuel stayed empty.
Yeah, all right.
Now, how are you checking it? Do you have it on a different monitor, your fuel state?
No, I just switch inside to my cockpit view every once in a while.
Okay. That doesn't pop up on the YouTube stream, actually. Oh, there you go.
I like to keep it under the half tank mark though, just so the maneuverability is still in the helicopter.
Yeah.
Man, what I would do to live in a spot like this. Holy crap.
Immigration to New Zealand has a process.
Yeah. Yes, it is. So have you heard where they're like, there's some countries are trying to get people to move there, and they're offering like tens of thousands of dollars to try to become a citizen there?
I haven't heard of that. I know like Italy is trying to get people to move to certain towns that are struggling. Some other Mediterranean area places have been asking for that, but I haven't heard of tens of thousands of dollars.
Sand pit right here.
Not doubting it.
Yeah, like an incentive program to get you to move there. You just have to become like a productive member of society and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Probably certain types of careers or jobs they want you to have too.
yeah, exactly. Economy booster.
Yep. Or education or something.
Tech.
Yeah. Variety kinds of tech or biomedical,
Yep.
healthcare. Unfortunately, not YouTube streaming. That's not one of those things.
Definitely not. Yeah. I think there are plenty of us around here to say we don't need that many more. I was actually shocked when I decided to do this. I was like, well, why not? It'll be fun.
Yeah.
And I have no plans to monetize or anything like that. It's just literally it's just fun for fun.
They try to monetize you become slave to the algorithms and all that stuff. So
Yeah. Trying to keep up with the
But-
Microsoft forums and all of the bug reports is a full-time job in and of itself with, just
Yeah.
trying to find the bugs and report them. It's a lot.
They're just field. Just a random field. Rains look appropriate. Not too green or anything, and I love that there's different shades of it flying. The farm.
It's great diversity.
There's a interesting conundrum if you are in a autumnal area trying to do a search and rescue mission, and they're popping orange paint, or not paint, but smoke. It'd be harder to notice them with the orange trees everywhere.
I think what would be even harder to find would be the mirror.
Yeah. But even the sea rescues, sometimes that mirror is hard to see.
The waves start to look like the mirror.
Yeah. Like, I'm chasing nothing.
Up there, it just went away. Next.
Yeah.
Up there it is. Nope, that's a wave.
Although I have cheated a few times and figured out where the victim was, figured out my hunting strategy, especially in a mountainous area, then gone and just restarted the mission.
Yep.
I cut those times down and the response time down in my gameplay and all that stuff.
That's a phenomenal approach.
I have done that to save some score, if you will.
Yep. I've even tried to get through some of the ATC EFB bugs by doing those restarts. Not with any success, but figured it'd be worth a shot.
Some of those are just so lame, like, really?
Yeah.
I'm hitting my autoresponder. Nothing.
And I've even got it mapped on the keyboard and on my controller, so I could try to use both. But I'm thinking about just getting rid of the one on the keyboard and only using it. Maybe that's part of the issue. I doubt it, but I don't know. Testing.
It's happening to everybody, I think. So
Right.
I had put together that first mission of the day, and I don't think that's consistent even. I did one mission today, and yeah, it was fine. No issues. So
Everything
I still
I did.
didn't land quite on the right part of the grass landing field, but you know, that would be too easy.
Everything I did today had a problem with it.
Well, hopefully a little bit of a gentle flight like this makes up for some of that stress.
Yep. It doesn't really stress me out all that bad just because I know how young the simulator is. It's frustrating, sure, but you know, yeah, we've been doing it for a month now.
Yeah.
None of it's a surprise.
Well, for some people it is.
Oh, for some people it's just too much.
Yeah. There's a lot of complaining, especially the group I'm part of. There's a couple members that are just pissed that they were promised their airplanes would work in this new version. Because they've got a lot of airplanes and they're not all working. Yeah, it will work. It's just going to be time.
Yep.
And yeah, he was less than pleased about that. I get it, man. Some guy who's got, what did he tell me? 50 or 60 different Airbus models.
That he's paid for.
Yeah. Nearly all of them paid for, yeah.
Yep. That's the big bite, that he paid for it, okay? Like, I understand it. But, like, patience is a virtue, my man. It'll get there. Hang out in 2020 for a bit. Slowly roll.
Yeah, he just got a 500E working, so he's a little happier. He can fly a helicopter at least. But yeah.
We finally got Avalock Emery's in the air, and then he turns around and got a huge stomach bug and hasn't been feeling good, so he's down and out and waiting to get back into things with other things going on. It's like, man, no matter what,
Well,
there's always something.
it is.
And as we're talking about it, Multi-Shop Matt says that he just logged off and finally figured out how to migrate his 2020 add-ons over.
Yeah. Definitely some of that's been going on using add-ons manager or whatever. Just figure some stuff out. It's not gonna be perfect, but in some cases we're not looking for perfect. We're looking for something comfortable. Somebody feeling like flying better than 737 Max or whatever.
I haven't been able to get any of the 2020 content to really work outside of sporadically with the 160 and the 145.
Yeah.
But I'll generally just keep that stuff out of my community folder for the sake of career mode.
Yeah, actually, I shut things in my community folder over the last week or so. And I haven't seemed to see any performance issues yet, so. It's a matter of time till I put one thing too many in, suddenly it won't work.
Right. This is a super cool spot. Oh, I think I just flew right through you.
was doing canyon runs to Kauai 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago, I can't remember which. That was fun. Because there's a lot of canyons there in Kauai, so those are very pretty.
Nice. I have not been there.
The interesting thing about the island of Kauai is there's not a lot of roads in the middle. They've tried, but they can't get it out. They've not been successful in building a road through the middle of the island, so all the roads are actually around the outside of the island. So the interior is completely uninhabited.
Nice.
So it's a bit of a dream place to go, you know, see if you can't bounce off the wall kind of thing.
Now it kind of looks like we're in the savannah, except we got trees.
Yeah, I think we're kind of in a similar zone where we were before we went and climbed the last mountain, because this aerodrome on our left up here, just under a mile, is one that I saw before we took off and
Yep.
headed up the hill. Here we go.
Asobo Hotel. Interesting. Got a tree real close to the end of the runway.
Yeah, well, it's better than a wall. Oh wait, too soon for that one.
Ooh, yeah, you just saw the airline crash that just took place not long ago?
Yesterday, day before, Korea, South Korea.
Yeah.
Boeing 737.
The one thing that bothers me, and I think always will until something is done about it, is we've controlled the helicopter that is on another planet.
Oh yeah.
And we've sent back photographs from that helicopter, fixed it remotely. We can print a tool on the space station, but we can't give passengers of an airplane a parachute. Here, have a flotation device as a seat that you'll never get the chance to use.
Well, it's unlikely. There's been a few cases where there's been successful quote-unquote commercial aircraft and sea incursions.
True. Far and few between.
Oh, absolutely. But I couldn't imagine what somebody would do with a parachute on board, considering the amount of fights people get into on, you know, Frontier or whatever.
Right. The seat of your seat, basically just you take the back of your seat and wear it.
Yeah.
Out of one side comes out a little hook. Next to the door is something that you hook it to. Static line jump right out. All you got to do is change your safety brief.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine the chaos of that, an actual emergency.
But more people would live amongst the chaos instead of just, here, have some oxygen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Multi-shop. We've done all that on Mars, but we can't fix the ground effect bug or teach AI to give us directional callouts for cargo missions. That's great. One step at a time, one small step for man. Now, like we were just saying too, it's just a matter of time before all that stuff gets worked out. Like if that thing didn't have landing gear when it came in. All right, let's just go into a pattern above the airport. We're going to shut down all the approaches right now, put everybody in a pattern, and we're just going to deploy one chute after another. We've got time, we've got fuel. Obviously, there was a lot of fuel on board when that thing went down.
Yeah, I'm really curious on what the investigation will show. But it's, you know, I obviously I saw the footage. There was no gear out.
None.
But okay, the pilot should have known there was no gear out before doing his approach, and yet there was no emergency vehicles out waiting for it.
None, and he was coming in hot.
Oh yeah, he was not, you know, a couple knots above stall speed.
No, he was moving.
Yeah. And take all that and you go, And then there was some commentary about a potential bird strike as well. But I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and discount that right away.
Yeah.
The bird strike doesn't stop your landing gear from coming down.
Unless the bird strike went through the cockpit and took out the, you know, captain and first officer. Okay, well then maybe.
Yeah, but at that point it looked like it was under too much control to have taken out the pilot.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah, back to the Mars helicopter. I mean, the thing was scheduled for 5 flights, and they did like 62 or 70 or something like that.
outlived its expectations, absolutely.
But that's what they did with all of the, well, almost all, of the rovers and such.
Yep.
Like, we expect this for 90 days, 10-year program.
Well, that's why they invest billions, to make it look even better than they expect.
Yeah.
We'll get our funding next year.
Yeah, maybe. So these parcels of land that are surrounded by trees are quite interesting.
Yeah, even from like higher up, this is a super cool location.
Yeah.
Throw the like large EFB on the screen to give you an idea of what like the patchwork looks like.
Yeah.
Super cool spot.
I mean, makes me want to go fly in Ireland. I drove in Ireland last year, and you know, these fields surrounded by little hedges and such. I'm curious if they modeled it with hedges or if they modeled it with trees in Ireland.
Or the tulip fields.
The tulip fields in Holland, yeah.
Yes.
So many options. Such a big world.
Or I know they're not called the Avatar Mountains, but it was what the mountains that inspired the mountains in Avatar. There's a spot in China that isn't really modeled very well in 2020 that I'm dying to go see what it looks like in 2024.
Oh yeah. I've seen photos of that. I haven't gone and flown either edition of the sim.
Yeah, it didn't resemble anything even close to what it's really supposed to look like in 2020, so I don't have very high hopes in 24 just because of governmental issues.
Yeah, low res photos probably only. But sometime we gotta fly the Great Wall of China too.
Absolutely.
I can come up with flight ideas to put in the face. That's why I have a hard time doing missions right now. Because I'm like, well, I do a mission, I'll go free fly. Go back to missions later on to get some of that stuff working.
Yep. Absolutely. And a lot of people are like, how do you get your helicopter to fly like that? What are your control settings? How do you get to operate the helicopter when you're doing a hoist? Well, I'll take the chopper out in a free flight first and get a real good idea of how I want my control settings to be, and I'll sit there and go into a hover or in a sky crane and I'll take it for a test spin for
Right.
several hours.
So for every 1 hour of YouTube content, I'd probably spend 8 or 10 other hours working and prepping and practicing.
Definitely. Another thing that's helped me out at this point is with this season where it is right now in my industry, we're kind of in a slow season, so I've kind of got a little bit of extra time on my hands, just
Yeah.
by chance.
When's the hot season for you?
It's springtime, and we go all the way through till about, I would say, late December when we're hot and heavy.
Ooh. All right.
And then we usually fall off between then and almost February. So like almost the entire month of January, I've got to like do my own thing for a bit.
No. Well, something tells me you'll find ways to keep yourself busy.
Oh, absolutely. I've got projects on top of projects on top of projects.
And then a side order from projects probably too.
Definitely. To-go bag, all of that. Building a custom set of rolling drawers for a customer. Like, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. It's the good life. I love these lens flares over the treetops.
Yeah. I must have been on the ground here for a moment. My dog needs to go outside.
Alright.
Top of the hill here. It's as good fast as any.
Sounds good. And multi-shot Matt, man, if you want to jump in at any point. We are in New Zealand right now. Closest airport is November Zulu Sierra Foxtrot. Always welcome to join in. Totally up to you. If you want to, feel free. If not, I understand. I'm currently looking at 2:16 in the morning myself. Looks like interesting little red mounds on the tree line. From up above, they look like they had more of a bump to them. Photogrammetry mixed in there with the shadow mapped.
Back.
Present and accounted for.
I see ya. That's 3 miles out. Springfield Airport.
Is that the November Zulu Sierra Foxtrot?
see the name. I don't see it on the map, but I see it just, the little dots it puts in for points of interest and such.
Okay.
I've
Yeah.
got to get my EFB to show airport names and such. Mine doesn't do it by default.
Yeah, there's not a lot of settings in that.
It's just layers, I'm guessing.
Yeah. But some of it's like unnecessary. Like for the satellite mission sets, it says firefighting in shapes.
Hmm.
Like, okay. What are shapes?
They're useless.
Looks like multi-shot Matt's gonna come in here. He's actually loading into the sim just a little bit off to our left. He's coming into that Sierra Foxtrot.
Reviewing my settings for my EFB while I fly below you and behind you about a half a mile, 2/3 of a mile,
Yep. I got you.
and try not to crash.
That's the trick.
Yeah. Luckily, no one's watching me except for me, so.
We'll just pull a loop-de-loop while we're working on that, right?
Sure.
Gold. It's the H125 Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
Having the trees spawn in more natural patterns just totally gives the planet so much more. Yeah, I mean, I just love it. This looks like a whole bunch of potholes, but
It's weird because the map settings are actually turned on and off, or off and back on the airports on the settings, not show it on the EFB.
really.
Yeah. I'll let you know when I'm surprised.
It's like I got a herd of something below me here.
Oh, and does no, we're on. Oh, it says in the description on west.
Yeah. We should. Some sheep. They're all just standing with their backs to me. You'll love it.
What was that?
Just a herd of sheep with their backs to me.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if we can't herd them to some extent. Maybe. To some extent, at least.
Let's see if we can't get multi in. No, we're gonna have to add him in as a friend for the group too.
Yeah, it'll make it easier to connect and see. Gotta get this gamer tag or whatever.
Yep.
Now, this makes me wonder if you can do this with cattle.
You can do it with any animal. They all get frightened by the aircraft and they'll just run. And the closer you get to them, the faster they run.
Hmm.
Horses, moose. All right, multi-shot.
There's an elevation component to that too, because I was fairly close, but I was 100 feet over them. Didn't care.
Just send you over the invite. Remaining on my flight 2 hours and 5 minutes. What? Oh, that's because I have a destination and a arrival on there.
Yeah.
Or a departure and arrival.
In Springfield, we've got some gliders and some tow aircraft.
Nice.
Springfield is.
And Matt, you want to go to November Zulu Sierra Foxtrot
there's
West
somebody else
USA
on that.
server.
Palms.
Yeah, that's me. What up?
Well,
Thank you. I'm kind of circling around here near Springfield. And, I think that was the name of the airport.
oh, you already loaded in?
Yep. Thank you, Starlink.
My pleasure. I don't see you in Sim though.
Yeah.
Let me
West, U.S. West?
Yep.
I'll back out and see if I can hop back into the group. Let's see.
That plane just vanished. That was great. Reset.
Okay, I saw you guys on the map. Let's see if I can load into it now.
Listen, you can see us.
Copy.
When I joined in, I just clicked on SARS helicopter. Said my destination is that.
Oh, there you go. I see you hovering off. I'm up to your right.
Yeah, I can see you on the EFB now.
There you go.
There you are.
I see ya.
Let's go.
Hi.
Using this fancy VR flying back and stuff.
Welcome aboard.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's a
Actually,
good
the
time.
first people I've flown with outside of just whatever in 2020.
Nice.
Because apparently none of my friends are capable of getting online at the same time I am. Funnily enough.
Timing is everything.
Yeah, plus I got a weird work schedule, so I just kind of hop on whenever I want to. Sucks for them.
What do you know? I just ran out of gas at the airport. I'm still on the ground.
I heard you winding down. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, were we just talking
Accidentally
about
shut
that
down the
too?
engine. I think I've asked you about 3 or 4 times. How's your fuel state?
We're getting a good morning from Uganda. That's pretty amazing.
I'll come back and give you time to start that puppy up and such, not leave you behind.
She's getting there.
That's fine.
Any sort of fuel.
There we go.
Full Jet A there for you.
That might have been the Jet B.
Okay.
As in bullshit.
It's like 87 octane for your helicopter.
Hilarious.
One over, one under. Beautiful.
And I think it's only apropos that we keep you out front there, SoCal. I mean, this was your idea. That's why I'm in New Zealand in the first place. It's so great to see you out in front.
Yeah. I know for you it's a little easier to have somebody out front to follow instead of the lead and make sure no one gets left behind. So
Yeah. I like to keep an eye on the EFB for all the, just the markers too, so.
yeah. On the hill, shoot up here. A pretty view.
Yeah, you got that pedal down.
You told me to go lead. You know how I am.
It's not our first rodeo.
I've got a t-shirt that says my second rodeo. So.
My second.
We were flying the Dolomites, doing some river running, road running and such. And you kept you on your toes then, Sar.
Oh yeah, that was a great flight.
And at that same time, we weren't on comms yet, so I was typing.
Yup. Pure talent.
And I was typing on my iPad, just like I've got on the YouTube stream.
Yeah, that's.
Going, really? Am I flying up this river at 120 knots and typing messages? Gotta be a easier way.
I mean, when you're good, you're good.
The FAA's got something to say about that.
Oh, Jesus. Crazy. That's not a real helicopter. I'm not really flying, so.
That's why I enjoy doing this. I'm not worried about balling $1 million on the runway.
Check out these
500
views
foot
from
doesn't
that.
mean anything.
Oh, autumnal tree action here in New Zealand.
Is it just me or do they get a lot more orange right here?
Oh yeah, they
Oh.
did.
Yeah, they go through phases as you go around the island.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got my collective pulled all the way up to keep up with you two. Jesus.
Oh, believe me, he's got this thing hammered down, man. That collective is full forward. That cyclic is just barely off of forward, if at all. Yeah, hammering.
Engine torque? What's that? Dude, the A and P's hate this one trick.
Now, you flew all in New Zealand. We got to make sure we show you the sights. You know.
You're keeping up pretty good, I'll give you that. All right. I mean, you're not far behind.
I think me and you were trying to keep up with him.
100%.
I think he's using sim rate on us.
No, I could. No.
Oh yeah, well that's another way we could catch up to him too.
Just like a little nitrous boost here and there.
Yeah, I've got my my sim rate control on a loop deck in front of me, so it has a dial on it, so I can see the what the setting is currently.
I've
And,
got it set to the trim on my cyclic, and I just count how many clicks I stick it up, and hopefully I remember to put it back onto the right one.
yeah, but who wants to remember that if this shows me the number?
Agreed.
I'm in VR, so I can't see anything outside of
Oh,
this.
flying in VR, it's fun.
See, that's
It's so worth it.
I think that's the one thing that would actually stop me from using VR as much as I would want to. Because
What,
of
not
using,
being able to see peripherals and
yeah, especially when you're doing a stream. I mean, I could see it when I'm doing like free flights or something like that,
Yeah.
but maybe even career mode.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever
all
take them
decent
off.
conditions.
That's the
Let's
thing.
go. No, all my streams I've done VR. I got this thing to learn how to hover a helicopter to save time on my real private license, and I kind of did that just looking at my laptop, and eventually I built a PC and bought VR to go with it, and here I am.
Very nice.
And I can say it's worth it. It made figuring out approaches and everything so much easier.
Nice. Very nice.
So you have a PPL, do you have your rotor certification or no?
Yeah, I have no interest in fixed wing. It just seems boring to me. It's the challenge. Literally just, I mean, fresh to it. I don't even want to say the hours. But I can tell you learning how to hover in this definitely is a significant help in learning how to do it in real life.
I've had my hands on a chopper one time and we were already airborne and I just kind of got to do a figure eight over a train museum.
Well, you hit all the autisms right there, didn't you? Helicopters, train museums.
Drove there in a car. Yeah.
Oh man. What a
Did you use your ham radio to do that too, or no?
We actually left that back at the fob.
Yeah.
I've tried the ham radio stuff, but I'm a learn by doing sort of person, and their tests and all the testing books are just like, look, here's a list of the answers. You don't need to know or learn anything. You just get the license. Sorry, I can't figure that out.
Right.
Yeah.
I just need to find some old dude in my neighborhood that's been doing it and go talk to him.
Steal its license.
You know, I'll just assume his identity for a ham radio license.
Yeah.
It's probably the most worth it fraud that exists.
I was just talking, autism interests, if you will. The issue with ham radio guys, most of them just want to listen. They don't actually want to talk.
Yeah, they want to listen. They want to track you as soon as you don't say what your identification number is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least it's not the sword autism. I don't think I'll ever get to that point.
Sword.
Swords and knives and edged weapons.
Right.
Yeah.
The fact that I call it edged weapons is already disturbing.
How about lightsabers? Does that count? Because there might be a couple on the wall right behind me.
Just maybe.
Maybe 6 or 7, I don't know.
Nice.
I assume if you have that many, they're the good quality ones that you can actually like beat the shit out of each other with.
Yeah, for the most part. A lot of them are from Disney.
Yeah, I got really hard into lightsabers for a little bit, where I had taken pictures and screenshots and copied all of the lore about how they're made. I even made the mistake of talking to some crystal girls and trying to figure out what would be the most earthly thing that would be comparable to what is it, kyber crystal?
Yep. It's like a geode. Oh, okay.
Did you get an answer?
I got something I had to go see a doctor about. But I never ended up making it. I kept holding myself at too high of a standard with that. I do movie props for a real job, so I didn't want to do one for a hobby.
Very nice.
You go down the road and build yourself a Wall-E robot or something, you know?
I never. We always outsource that sort of things. It's more immediate stuff on the day that I transition to doing the armor and stuff. So now I pretty much just stick to guns, but
Yeah.
it's all fun.
Got it.
It's all worth it, except the schedule's ridiculous, which is why I get to play at weird hours like 3 to 20 in the morning.
Because you'll miss your start calls.
I don't think I come back to work for like another week and a half or 2 weeks, so
Nice.
I'm not super worried. They always do a big hiatus during Christmas break and everything, so
That's kind of where I'm at in my industry too. We're dead till Feb.
yeah, they're just now starting to recover from 2020 and then the strike of 2023 or whatever it was, and it's just been slowly picking up for like the past 2 years.
Yeah.
But now, 2025, I got 2 shows on the books for 2025, both filming at the same time, so I'll just be going back and forth between both of them. And both filming at the same soundstage too, so easy peasy.
Wow.
That makes it handy.
Yeah.
I went to some sound stages last Friday.
Where at? Which ones?
Warner Brothers.
Cali? I
Yes.
guess.
Yep.
Georgia-based here. It's not Hollywood, it's Hollywood.
Yeah, pretty much. You guys are stealing all the productions, is that correct?
Yeah, good. More money for me.
Yeah.
More
Every time
less travel.
It seems like every time a movie or show ends, it's like, made in Georgia. Pops up a little peach logo. I'm like, there goes some more work for somebody.
Yeah, next time you see that, hey, I flew with that dude. Goal is to either rent an R22 for the entire day and fly it to work one day, or I want to do that thing where you buy an R22 for 150,000 and build hours on it and sell it for 120 when you time it out.
Yep.
And I'd love to fly to work one day just to really freak producers out about whatever they're paying me. What should we paying that dude again?
Talk about great minds thinking alike. This is great.
Yeah, I work 3 miles from home, but wouldn't be worth the helicopter for me.
No, I work an hour away from, or I live an hour away from Atlanta, so.
I'm
it would be
about
worth it.
I'm about 25 minutes on a good day from the city where I work. I live out in the suburbs of Chicago. But with morning traffic, if you leave a little bit too late, it's an hour and a half instead. I would certainly consider the chopper and just park it on top of the parking garage right next to the building. It's almost always empty. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would depend on the soundstage we work at. If we're on location, it'd probably be easier.
If you don't show up in the middle of the shoot.
Nah, they'll get over it. The wild thing is like talking to the producers and stuff, like 1 minute on a production. I did Walking Dead. One time on The Walking Dead was like $7,000 just to keep the company running.
Yeah.
It's an unreal amount. I spent $5,000 on pizza one day.
Yep.
And we didn't even use it for the shot.
Yep. I was actually the production manager of a television station out here in Chicago for quite a while, and I'm very familiar with what you were talking about, man. Craft services is no joke.
Oh, this wasn't even crab. This was pizza. We were supposed to have a reindeer bust through some pizza.
Oh, I know, but imagine like full on
yeah.
craft services.
Oh yeah, we got a fire Crafty right now on the show. Crafty and catering are both like gourmet level. Of course, we have to have like our hot snack 3 hours into the day. So Crafty's always coming out with something super, super good, and then freaking catering fires back with something ridiculous, and it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed The Walking Dead until all the spin-offs, and just kind of lost it.
Yeah, kind of. I did seasons like 6 through 10, I think. That's probably one of the closer productions to me. Oh, you're about to have to use the ground effect to get up the mountain there.
Just crawling up.
It's annoying. I've tried to summit Everest like 6 times and I can't do it.
Really?
Not in real life with these stupid helicopters, because they've done that in real life.
It might have been a version that had the extra horsepower.
Aren't we in the D2, I think? I mean,
The
we're
D3
considered the
or
H125, so we're not like the old AS350s or EC125s. It says H125, right? So it's got to be the newer 850 horsepower, I think.
But this is a single engine, right? There's a dual engine one.
Yeah, the 355, but it was the single engine that summited Everest.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't gotten to Nepal yet, my flying, but I can't say I landed on top of what I think is, what do I call it here?
For some reason, I'm just imagining you saying Eiffel Tower next, and you can't think of the word for it.
No, mountain in Switzerland.
Matterhorn?
Matterhorn, yeah.
Do it in 2020 or 2024?
2024.
Oh,
Yeah, it says
probably easier to
14,900
confirm
feet.
then.
It says 14.9. And if you go there, right in the area, there is a working gondola, basically. So, like, you can see it pulling up and down two different points, gondolas, as it goes to like some observation stuff in the area. And there's a whole lot of custom buildings there and such. Looks like castles and what have you. So definitely some points of interest to check out.
Yeah, I keep getting bored of where I fly, and then I realize it's an entire damn planet. It's like, look, 200 hours is not enough to cover
No,
to cover everything.
no.
You'll never see it all.
That's what this is all about. This whole trip to New Zealand was because I mentioned it. I'm like, hey, so we can check out New Zealand. It's got to be pretty gorgeous and shit. So now we end up here tonight, this morning, whatever you want to call it.
Quite literally. Alright, SoCal's name is even in the description.
His fault. Yeah.
You the hostage shaker.
Finally caught
Yeah,
back
this
up
is
to
as
him.
smooth as I've had the damn game run in like a week. It's been killing me for a week.
Hmm.
Probably all the Christmas people getting on for the first time.
I haven't noticed anything.
Yeah, neither.
Maybe time of day you're flying.
Maybe? What was it? Either last night or the night before, I streamed for like 3 hours or so, and it got to the point where it was like a frame a second.
Oof.
So I'm running a 4070 Ti Super and like a 7800 X3D. Like the computer can handle it.
Restart the computer or something.
Yeah, I mean, the stream was like 3 hours long at that point. I just called it a day.
Or it was, like you said, it was Starlink, and well,
Oh yeah, I can blame everything on Starlink.
somebody was using all the bandwidth off that satellite.
Yeah, somebody running a 40 I love cloud-based gaming. It's so good. I love owning something but not actually having it.
My graphics just took a little hit right there. Interesting. As we're talking about it, it started to stutter a little bit.
Yep. Oh, it's weird. Literally around this time every night, like when I'm watching TV, it'll be like, "Oop, signal lost. No more Wi-Fi." Okay, cool. Thanks, Elon.
Now he's busy selling it to somebody in Florida.
Nice touch and go there.
Like that?
Yeah.
It's not my helicopter, it's a rental little naked.
Yeah. I know my helicopter. Don't judge me. I forget where I was. I was planning Japan? Where was I? It might have actually been New Zealand. No, it was Australia. I was flying Australia the other day on stream, and I was doing auto rotations and stuff, and I was like, okay, cool, let's just run it out of fuel and see how far we can go, like try to find a heliport somewhere in the middle of nowhere. As I sat down, it started dying on me before I even hit the off button. Timed it damn perfectly.
Hmm. Yeah, I did a mission once. It was one of the tornado missions, and 2-hour flight time, an hour each way, and I landed back at the origin airport after seeing the thing and having pretty much, I'm guessing, a perfect flight, and ran out of fuel on touchdown. Would not taxi. Could not get it to start up again. Could not get the fuel even a gallon. Like, oh, this sucks.
Do they have the tornado mission as a helicopter thing, or is that fixed wing?
That's all fixed.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was so up to do fixed wing stuff to get my heli licenses and stuff. Seething the entire time.
Yeah. The whole fact that it keeps tying you back, making you go back and do plane missions to activate helicopter stuff. It's like, this sucks.
That's why I opened up the flight saying, honestly, even though it's just one of the most boring things you could be doing in a helicopter, like,
Oh yeah, I've got a flight thing, I've got cargo, I've got the passenger transport pays the most by far, especially if you sim rate through it, if you don't want to sit through a hour-and-a-half flight over nothing.
you'll actually
Sim
earn
rate
more
through
money
it.
if you don't use sim rate.
But how much more?
Probably around 30% more.
I may do one day without it just to see, because for me it's like, I don't want to spend an hour doing one mission. I don't want to say I'm just chasing the money, but I want to buy a sky crane and do aerial construction company, and that's like 17 mil or something like that.
Right. And trying to get there is the worst thing, because the expenses of maintaining your aircraft in the meantime wind up really dictating what you're going to do with that.
Yep.
So what I've done is I've got a flight seeing, I've got search and rescue, light cargo, and VIP. And I just let those run in the background. I do as many of the employee missions. Well, I'll do like one employee mission in the Pilatus 24.
Oh, so you still dabble over on the fixed wing stuff to,
But I'll one time a day,
yeah.
right? If I choose to, right? So right now I'm really close to breaking even. I've actually had to restart my company, and I've even had to, I've gone through some shit, put it that way. But, yeah. So far, by focusing more on being able to afford the maintenance, so I'm not worried about getting the best aircraft right off the bat. I want the one that's going to be the most affordable, that I can run in the background while I do smaller missions throughout the day on the employee or on the freelancer side of it. So without using sim rate, those earn the most money.
Huh. Interesting. Because like I'm sure you can imagine the calculation. Like, okay, cool. If I can find a $120,000 passenger transport, but sim rate through it, it probably pays out $240 or something. Without clicking like skip to whatever, I'll just fast forward and hopefully not crash.
You'll make good money doing that up front, but when you're trying to earn that passively, that's when the sim rate is just negatively impacting your profit.
Because the AI pilots aren't also sim rated, I'm guessing.
It is annoying though with AI pilots, because don't they wait like 24 hours to do any missions after you touch the helicopter?
It takes them 24 hours to pay you. So
Because it's
basically
like
what they're doing is they're calculating all of your flight hours in the background, and then every day at 0100 UTC, there's a payout. And you're not supposed to be in sim for that payout. At least right now, that's kind of like the bug that's there.
Yeah, because like the way I'm just like, I leave it for a day, I come back, and then like 4 companies, all with H125s. It's like they only had like 30 flight minutes on them. I'm like, what have you been doing for the past 24 hours?
Mine said I had 10 minutes on one part of the page. Then on another part of the page, it said that each aircraft had 1 hour of flight time. And then in another spot, it said that they had 27 minutes of flight time. So none of it is being calculated appropriately at all.
Yeah.
Like, you're in VR, you can't really see it right now, but I've got like on screen right now the passive income of 11,430, and that was from the very first time I actually received passive income from my new set of company. That was in a positive number. On day 2, it jumped all the way up to 114,400.
I think 2024 is worth it.
All right, and that was again kind of testing between whether or not I was using the employee side of things or freelancer, and sim rate or not. And there is a difference. There is a vast difference. You want to make sure that you have that payout there too, while your pilot and crews are all on, not off.
Yeah, I thought we were flying the valley over here, and y'all are over here doing stuff.
No, oh, someone just simulated. I can tell how fast their icon's moving.
Oh, we both did.
What? No.
I didn't.
It was me. I certainly did.
I sure as hell did.
You're hard to keep up with tonight, SoCal.
You guys are talking, and you guys expecting me to go down the mountain. Instead, I just kind of climbed it and went across.
Shoot, I'm managing the stream too, putting up, you know, like some
The
other
graphics
images over
that
the
are-
top of what we're
yeah.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. I get what you're distracted.
I'm just over here with mechanical sympathy for my rental helicopter.
Oh, don't worry about it. You're not paying per hour for the...
I didn't get the insurance. That Enterprise employees were pissed.
Well, the old saying goes, if you get a 4x4 in a rental car, the rental car will get there.
I have not heard that before.
I've heard the fastest car in the world is the rental car.
Oh, yeah, it is. I'd be falling off a cliff, but, you know.
We're not in Robinsons. We can do a little zero G push over here.
Ah,
We don't even
saw
know what
that,
mass
yeah.
bumping is.
You saw that, did you?
Oh. Retreating edge blades? No, that's not a thing either.
Hey. My damage is turned off.
Did y'all ever fly the fly inside Bell 206 in 2020?
No.
No.
They had a blade stall modeled, so as soon as you got over, like, what, 130 knots or whatever in it, she'd flip upside down and throw you into the ground.
Well, that's special.
Enjoyable.
That 206 flew different than the Cowan ones, too. And it was super picky on its startup as well. But then again, those old 206s are like that, so probably a lot more accurate.
I like the MD 500E.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I downloaded that, I flew down to Cletus's airport down in Florida.
Wow, I got close to that tree.
Yeah, these surprise trees are great. I have a few more seconds to render endings. I run the settings a bit lower for keep my FPS good from keeping me from being sick, but
So
I need a few of those last second trees.
Yeah, like I was saying, you can't get bored of this planet.
I'll try to jet boat around these rivers near all these glacial runoffs.
Oh, I'm sure there's tournaments here.
There's a couple of car guys I followed on Instagram and stuff, and one of their hobbies is coming out looked just like this valley, but I'm sure there's a handful of these runoffs. And then they get the jet boats that are little jet ski engine, go over like 2 inches of water.
Nice.
Wild and crazy times.
Boy, I sure do love expensive hobbies.
Oh, computer game isn't too expensive.
Yeah, except I got the computer game to fuel the real thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm the gun guy at work, so I have to have gun stuff too. And then I did race car stuff before this, and race motorcycle stuff before this. Seriously, drugs are gonna hell of a lot cheaper.
Ah, yeah, that be so much more life changing. Yeah.
Yeah. Is he actually leading to a destination airport, or he just pretend that he is?
I have just letting him fly, man.
Uh,
No pun intended.
Quite literally.
Usually don't have a destination in mind. It's usually like, what's over here? What's over there? Yeah.
Well, I kind of put one together in the description, and it turns into a little bit of where do you go? Just because there's so much to see. Easy to get distracted. Did some crocodile hunting, polar bear hunting.
You done the photo missions, or some of them?
I haven't done any other than just kind of taking pictures when I come across different animals, but I haven't actually gone into that mode.
Yeah, bye. Have you?
They have taken one picture of the helicopter exit.
And the trees.
I'm in
just-
that weird place of I don't want it too gamified, but also the gamification makes it a lot more fun to get on, and because you have to plan flights and
Mhm.
come up with something to do.
I don't know. I barely plan flights. I just look around the world and go, where would be an interesting place to canyon run or something, you know?
Exactly. Even just doing some road running.
Oh yeah. Like being a movie industry guy, like I do so much Fred North flying where I find a random car in traffic and then I just fly sideways next to it as long as I can in whatever weird directions that it's going.
Yep. I see, and trying to do something like that in VR has got to be just everything.
Oh, it's so good. Like when I was doing the aerial construction stuff, I went to third person like I saw you were flying in the stream. So I could figure out how far the power pole thing is hanging.
Yes.
Because there's no call-outs. There's no, hey, go left, go right. Go. Like they have the ridiculous AI voice. I don't know why they couldn't have added that in.
We touch.
Yeah.
But yeah, VR it makes the helicopter stuff worth it for sure. Like you can get by with the fixed wing stuff, just first person in the cockpit with a couple of preset angles, but the VR really gives you a sense of grandeur in a lot of these places. Like doing a crest on this hill up here.
Yep.
Like he's doing these, we'll have a crest on this hill. I mean, I can look off to the side of my seat and it really feels like it's dropping hundreds of feet down.
Yeah,
I mean-
not bad. I've got a 49-inch curved monitor for my viewing pleasure.
Nice.
Is it to the left or to the right?
Or the left.
Now, it's a little personal kind of question there, isn't it?
I was talking about your monitor.
Oh. My bad.
Oh, man. That's great.
But yeah, if you're looking for the $500 investment, whatever it is, to get like a MetaQuest 3 brand new or get a used one, it's well worth it. I say go for it. It's a bit of an asshole to get it to set up and run everything right.
Yeah.
I'm only running a
all of this
2080 Ti
stuff,
graphics card too, so I think my graphics card would have to be upgraded before I did VR.
Probably.
I've watched a lot of Linus Tech Tips. I still have no idea what they're talking about, but maybe.
Well, if you're thinking about like the number series, if you're on the 4000
Oh, yeah.
series of graphics cards, right, mine's half as old, or like twice as old as yours, right?
Yeah, two series behind.
Even though it's an
I
11
kinda-
gigabytes of VRAM card and it's actually doing quite well with this, I don't know how well it would do with VR.
Yeah. I can say I can run complete ultra settings on everything if I do non-VR stuff. But in VR, I can run everything medium-ish.
The only thing
Just
I
to-
have set to ultra is like the pre-cache.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is basically set to high. And then I'm using a DLSS hack to kind of get my frame rates where they need to be. Because before that, it literally, everything was on a medium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now
think I
most
picked
of my
like
settings are
40,
on
72,
high. I
yeah.
put like the fauna and the boat traffic to ultra. I think the buildings are on ultra, but everything else is high.
Yeah. If I move the trees past medium, I start getting issues, especially flying low. Up here, I wouldn't be bothered with anything, but flying low, the trees would give me issues past medium for VR.
Right.
Hmm.
Just because there's so many polygons in the damn trees.
So like right now I'm only running 27, 30 frames, 31 frames, 32.
83.
I need to download something to see what I'm... Oh no.
What kind of graphics card do you have?
4070 Ti Super.
NVIDIA
Going up
RTX.
3070.
Yeah, RTX.
Try to hit Alt R on your keyboard.
Let's see, Alt R. My VR up for a second. No, I think when I'm locking in VR mode, it won't show it on the screen. I pulled my headset and I didn't see anything.
Yeah, when I do that, I get a little call out in the upper left-hand corner. It gives you the frame rate, GPU usage, CPU, and latency.
Maybe if I wasn't in VR mode, it may show me that. I
It's
don't know.
not even a downloaded app. It just comes right with an NVIDIA card.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Mine
found
did
somebody's comparison, and this is more or less a 3090 of last gen. So, okay, everybody always brags about 3090s running everything. So I figured 4070 better on energy, not that I care.
And even though I've got my graphics to high, which isn't where I want them to be, I'm still pretty impressed with what's going on.
Oh, yeah. And like that's what somebody had told me on the street last time. They're like, "Why aren't you running an ultra? The graphics look kind of crap." It's like, well, I don't care about the graphics as much. I just want it to be smooth with VR. That was the whole purpose of doing this. Yep.
The graphics settings in the military simulators are so blocky on purpose. It's the same thing, you know, they're not paying that much attention to that level of detail because that's not the focus of what they're there to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, the entire reason I spent $1,500 on the peripheral for the controls, $2,000 on the PC, and $500 on the VR was like, cool, I want to learn how to hover. And if I can, that $4,000 investment can save me where most people get their private in 60 to 80 hours, if I can be as close to 40 as I possibly can, which I did, then it paid for itself.
Absolutely.
Like, that was the whole purpose of this. It was like, cool, if I can make my private as close to 40, then I've saved that money from having to go 60 or 80 hours like most people do.
I mean, technically, that's what the tool is here for, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think the first 100 hours or so that I was in 2020, I literally just hovered the R22 around the parking lot next to my local airport. I would do that for like an hour, then do like angry flying for like 5 or 10 minutes. Just
Angry
to-
fly.
Yeah, like all SoCal's doing up here at full collected the entire damn time.
Right. Love it.
It's not full collected the entire time. Most of the time.
Most
Sure.
of the time. I
But
can't
when
push
I'm
my
trying to
cyclic
ski
any
down the
further
mountain,
forward.
it's not full collected. That doesn't work.
We had collision. I'd introduce myself straight into your damn cockpit. Feel like I even got the Apache Simulator R44 control, so it feels just like a Robinson does. And man, your screens are purple when I look into your cockpit.
Yeah. I don't fly from inside my cockpit, so.
Yeah, especially for the streams, I try to stay out of it. Speaking of cockpits, though, I'm going to get into mine real quick and see. Oh, yeah, we're getting low on fuel again.
We'll find somewhere else to get you some more fuel.
Pretty soon I'm going to be taking a nap. Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
gotta get
your
up
central time.
Yeah, I'm at 3:15 in the a.m.
I mean, 4:15 a.m. for me. Yeah.
Haven't heard what the little lady wants to do for New Year's yet, so... Yep,
And mine will be in bed by 9.
perfect. I'm sure mine will.
9:30.
My girl just has to say the word sleep and she's snoring. I don't know how she can just put her head down and just poof, gone.
Oh, I do that.
I used to be able to.
In almost any environment, I close my eyes for 30 seconds. I'm usually asleep.
Nice.
I'm jealous.
It's a great feature when flying on an airplane, I'll tell you that.
Shoot. At least as a passenger.
Yeah, well, as long, yeah. And I've been able to fall asleep before they push back the gate, you know. Kind of nice. Wake up at 30,000 feet or whatever.
What a flex. Just fall asleep whenever you want to.
My wife hates me when I do that.
It drives me nuts.
The doctor's hate this one trick.
That's probably the reason I'm such a night owl, 'cause I just crash out, be unconscious for however many hours till the alarm goes off. For the sun will pick up.
Yeah.
I don't see any airfields here in the valley. I would assume there'd be something.
No, it's just a rocky little riverbed instead.
Yeah.
Nice blue riverbed.
Totally.
You should
Yeah.
get something nice to look at while you wait for someone to bring you fuel.
Sounds. No, didn't quite.
I'm not even sure exactly where on the island we are anymore. I've got my EFB zoomed in a little too tight.
Yeah, we're like over on the west coast now. We continue straight down this river. We're gonna be at the coast in a few minutes.
Yes, we
Yeah.
Follow this river. We hit the coast. We go right there's an airport.
There you go.
There you go. Roger that.
That's a plus. From right here in the cockpit. Oh, I just captured the left side of my computer screen and kind of zero in on that when I stream, and then I put a stabilizer on it. Looks pretty decent. I used to not run a stabilizer and be super jerky just because all your head movement gets translated in, but run like a 10% stabilization and it ends up actually smoothing out pretty decent. Only downside is you don't get like the full field of view that I would have in the VR. But
Yeah.
I'm left eye dominant, so I just set it to my left eye, and whatever I'm looking at, typically whoever's watching the stream can see.
Very cool.
All 5 people who ever watch me. I just go on there and fucking gap for 3 hours and then go away.
I think an interesting aspect of the streaming thing too is just the progression of the simulator that we're recording.
Oh yeah. Sort of like compare this against something you'll see in a year from the simulator.
Absolutely. The amount of bugs that we have at this point versus what we'll have in, like you said, you know, in maybe 5 years, 2 years, 6 months, whatever it may be, you know.
If
I
have to wait
started this
5
stream
years
off in
for fucking
2020.
landing, I wish I'd done 2020 earlier. Never thought about it.
Now you're too busy making zombie shows.
Yeah, that was only like 4 months out of the year. I did Marvel too.
Oh, well, there's another 6 months of the year.
No, it's crazy. We did some additional photography for in-game, and we worked a month and a half straight. And like 2 13-hour or 13-day weeks, and then like a couple of normal weeks. And I counted, other than like we filmed like one entire scene that they wanted to add in, which was like only 1 day's worth of shooting, but the entire other month and a half's worth of shooting was only like 7 seconds in the entire movie. Because it was all like, oh man, we need like this one angle of whoever flying through the air, so we have to, all the camera people get their things set up for their camera motion, and some people have all the table, and it's ridiculous. And it was like, okay, cool, like, sure, I got paid damn good for a month and a half.
Yeah.
Like 7 seconds of actual footage that was used in the film.
Yeah, I just went through the same thing with the drone shoot. We had the premiere for that movie just a couple of weeks ago, and I know the shots in the movie. I had no idea what else the movie was about or anything like that.
What movie?
Oh, I'm not even gonna say it, bro. That's how
No, come
far
on.
away I want my name from that movie. All right, that's where I was going with this. Okay, so I didn't really know too much more about the script or what was going on with this movie, and man, it was one of the worst pieces of work I think I've ever seen in my entire life. I got paid to do the drone work, fine, good and dandy, and like you said, he was just there for about maybe 8 seconds. Like, man, this is a feature film. Shit. And
I'll
it
figure
was
it out.
bad.
There's not too many things filmed in that area.
It was pretty bad.
I thought of being part 107, but I can't make myself do it. I'm curious now if I'd have to do it already. It's like, look, I'm a real pilot. No offense to you, not.
No,
Are
no.
you the 107?
Are you going to get into aerial cinematography at all once you do get up and running completely with your licenses?
I've considered it.
Bridge.
Oh, you know it's too low though.
But I'm more interested in the stunt aspect of it just because I'm friends with a lot of the stunt people. Because doing the gun stuff, I get to work a lot with the stunt people.
Right.
So I'm more interested in stunt flying than anything else. I know that's a shit ton of hours and just familiarization with different platforms. But at the end of the day, if I could never go back to Hollywood and I could just do like utility work like slinging poles, I'd be more than happy doing that. I want to be challenged every day. I want to go to work every day and like, sure, maybe I become the world's best power line pilot, but guess what? There's going to be a better firefighter. There's going to be a better med pilot. There's going to be a better ski pilot. There's going to be a better whatever pilot. I'm going to be the best. And I'm going to work every single day and always be chasing something. But that's the goal.
Yeah, very cool.
Close to the coast.
Yeah. We're like 2 miles from the coast.
Yeah.
And it looks like there's a road over or something on the EFB. So there might be a huge opportunity.
Road rail bridge, I think, is what we're looking at.
Oh, I finally went into the Grand. See, I finally crashed. The first crash throughout the entire night. I started looking at the other screen.
You
Got
can
distracted
respond
for
back
a
up in
moment.
the air.
Oh yeah,
Like response.
I say you're gonna miss the group flying over the bridge.
I didn't even get that far. I love doing bridges though.
Any of the Chicago bridges you could fly underneath?
No. They all just seem to be a little bit too low.
That's doable.
This might be
Oh,
doable.
except not at an angle. Shit. I
Not at
can turn
velocity,
around and
it's
try
not
it again.
doable.
I can do that.
Nope, it's not working. You're not fitting through.
I
I tried it for us.
Oh, okay. Hey, hit all the coast airport. Pulls up. Damn, I forgot I had a fucking co-pilot in here. Scared the shit out of me. I just happened to look to my left.
Oh, yeah. Some idiot sitting next to me, just doing nothing.
Passengers too, yeah. What, I'm loaded out with passengers, hell yeah. Damn,
They get
four in the
out of their
back.
lives, man.
Damn, they've been having a good ass time.
Yeah. All puked.
Oh yeah, running the beach out my window right here. Looks cool as hell.
Yeah, this is pretty great.
You know, for him flying so exciting to the mountains, he's kind of far off the coast over there, isn't he?
Probably like maybe 8, 9 feet off the water.
So you got a, I was gonna say you have a radar opportunity, but you're not in the cockpit.
It's hard to stay low to the water and about 137 knots.
Yes, it is.
Dipping a skid occasionally, go too low.
And these things float. It's fine. My friend lives on a lake. I landed at his house. And kind of like parked right on the water, and then I hopped out and I looked and the damn helicopter was bobbing around. Airport should be just to your right up there in the front.
Copy that.
1.1 miles away. Heliport.
Okay, get into the traffic pattern, do the teardrop, do the approach.
You know how to change that teardrop, don't you?
I just ignore it.
You can change it in your EFB before you even get out on the pattern.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of work.
I can actually show you here real quick too. I've got my EFB up. Once we land, I'll show you a little trick with that.
Lots of
It's handy
things.
AF. And
Is there
it
an
does
actual
work.
heavy
Just
pattern or
still.
just a mark? Are we talking? Turn my phone back on.
We got the car back before we ran out of fuel.
Just in back. Just in time. So inside of your EFB when you're in this thing,
Yep.
go to change procedure. And it's going to always have you in the teardrop in the VFR pattern. But if you go to something like direct or anything like that, there's other options available, right? So you'll see that this is actually going to change as soon as I go back to the VFR pattern and do like a left direct auto. It puts this in there, or you could do a left auto, which will turn into a completely different flight path, but do what makes sense to your flight path. All right, the right cross auto is going to put the teardrop into it. Same thing with the left cross auto, just reversed, right? And if you do that before you take off, right, then you change your procedure, and that's going to load that in there, and you can do it on both your departure and your arrival. So you can do a VFR pattern. You know, if it's wrong already, you can do a straight out,
Yeah.
change the
So
procedure.
you get
All right, so then it's going to change that while you're actually still on the ground before you actually get to the tarmac is when I do those.
Oh, nice. Does it give you extra points for following the flight path or whatever when you do that? Or is it
You'll come across less instances of ATC infractions.
Oh, okay. That's worth it.
So what I've noticed is too in those missions, what it'll say is like, okay, your EFB says you're expected at runway 11. But ATC is coming through the comms like, we want you to land at helipad 1. Well, that's wrong. What you should be following is the EFB and ignore the SIM's ATC. But once you have those in there, literally just file the plan with the ATC and your avionics before you load into the airport.
Yeah, I've rarely messed with the EFB.
It's
Before a
actually an
flight.
extremely important tool. Have your altitudes ever been like, oh, you're supposed to be at 27,000 feet, and you're like in a Cessna?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so go in the EFB again, up in the upper right-hand corner here, it says cruise altitude. Flight
Yeah.
level 100 is 10,000 feet. Well, I can change that. I can just put my cursor in here and say I want to be at 1,000 feet. Click away from it. If you go to the flight level side of it again, it's going to be 10, and then if I update the flight plan with ATC and my avionics, again, before you load into the sim, it'll change those altitudes for you, and you won't have to go to 27,000 feet. It's only going to expect 1,000. So you can kind of avoid those bugs by using the equipment that they give you. If you want your rotor blades to last longer, go into the aircraft checklist, and in your post-flight for engine shutdown, make sure you're following the rotor brake RPM settings. I
know
haven't
already
had a
do that. I
major
already wait
instance
till it
with my
gets low
engine
for-
recovery at all. I'm sorry, say it again?
I was gonna say I already wait for rotor brake to slow down and for engine cool down and stuff.
Right on. I figured you would, knowing what you know, but yeah, for those out there that don't.
It's like one of those things where, like I said, I got into this to learn how to hover and to like figure out the neural path of anti-torque pedals and collective and cyclic and their relation to each other, and I never paid more attention to it just because I always watch people stream to like a 737 and they just hop up and do like autopilot simulator.
Right.
So I just kind of ignored all of the EFB and computery stuff in here just because I was like, yeah, that's not why I invested in this.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, but if you want to make success in your career, in the meantime, if you're trying to go about that even for a little bit, you'll come into a lot less headaches.
A quicker path to the sky crane.
Yep. The sky crane is where it's at, dude. Especially if you want to stay specifically on the helicopter side of things, right? Because that's the heavy lift side of our career tree.
Yeah, there's actually in real life there's a local-ish company to me, Helicopter Express. They just bought 19 of them like 2 years ago. I think they have 16 operational at the moment. 3 are in like overhaul phase right now.
19.
Yeah, they bought out the Ericsson fleet and they're repainting them all to their colors.
That's got to be up like over $1 billion, easy.
Yeah, they had a pretty solid operation before the sky cranes anyways.
Well, the amount of
But, they
logging
bought
that they
like
do
a-
with those things is pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, I think they have like 5 or 6 that are out in Cali right now. But I also they've had them out in Argentina and different places for whatever reason.
Right.
But they just bought like 300 or 400 acres up in North Georgia, and they built their own hangars and everything up there because they were at an airport. They're like, why are we paying like $50,000 a month in rental for all these damn hangars and airport fees? So then they're like, we have helicopters, we don't need a runway. So they just bought like 300 acres and built a giant facility up in North Georgia in the mountains.
I mean, why not?
Yeah, if I can get on with them one day, that'd be sick. But that's a lot of hours away and a lot of money spent to get to that point to be able to fly with somebody like them.
We actually got the opportunity to have our parking lot used by our local electric service. And they used our parking lot as a base of operations as they did the high wire inspections.
Oh, nice.
So they brought an MD500 and the E in there with a nice platform across the top of it, and dude straps onto the side of the chopper and just sits on this little plank off the side, which would be another really, okay, here we go. We should have that in the sim as a career mode.
Well, I think the actual lumber industry would be easier to do than the wire inspection because you don't have wires currently modeled in the game.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Probably
actually,
cool
we've
because it's
seen it in
more
all the
than one hook at
cutscenes,
a
right?
time.
That's coming down the pipeline. We know that that's coming.
True.
Yeah, lumber would be cool because you can do more than one lift at a time because it's neat doing the cargo lifts, but it sucks. It's like, okay, cool, pick up one, and then you have to shut down. I'm like, cool, thanks, I picked up one thing.
Right.
And
But
also,
no,
I
you
hate
want to be able to
that it's
run
a
up and down that
30-foot
mountain
line.
for a
You need
6-hour
200
shift.
foot long line. How is it doing third person on the cargo hook stuff? I haven't tried it.
I
Save it.
find it a little bit easier
Yeah.
because
Because I can tell you the window in the cockpit, the floor window is just about useless on the 30-foot cargo lines.
Yeah.
And their sling lines.
no, I modify the view, the perspective when I'm outside, and if I can, I try to get a kind of a right-left view versus a top-down, if you will.
Yeah.
So I can use more of the monitor size to help me kind of get that judgment.
Yeah, I finally turned on where I could do outside view, and it's just the whatever camera switched out, so you press left, right, and whatever to look around. Because I don't want to hop out of VR doing it, but I did that with the sky crane for the first construction mission. It's like cool. The 30-foot line that they give you, you basically landed on top of whatever you have to pick up because the line 30 feet starts 25 feet off the ground with that damn helicopter.
Yep.
Then once you get it off the ground, they don't tell you how tall it is, and they don't tell you how tall the platform you're putting it on is.
Yeah.
So your radar altimeter that you have right there on your screen is just about useless.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like the helicopter is almost an afterthought to the game.
Well, it's never been their bread and butter. They're still very new to it.
Well, they could have hired at least one helicopter pilot to give them some pointers.
Well, in all of these dev streams and everything, they've said multiple times that they've talked to people in the search and rescue industry, and they've been through hangars, and they've got partnerships with Airbus. You know what I mean? They've been there. But I think what they're doing is saying that they've been there, but the crew that's actually doing it is a bunch of interns.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't think the people who are saying it are the ones that are actually, I don't know. Because it doesn't seem like you said. There's just so many different things about it that are wrong. Like the proximity issue with your cargo when it just goes away.
Yep.
If you were to be able to keep a constant eye on the cargo's shadow, that becomes a lot easier.
And you also can't, if you're carrying a load, if you exceed a certain speed and you don't know what that speed is, you'll destroy the cargo.
Yep.
It's like, is that 15 knots? Is that 30? Is that 18 and a half? You know?
So that's when you go to the outside view for a second and you kind of get an idea on it. So you never want to let that cable underneath the chopper go past like a 30 degree. Like the 30 to 45 degree mark underneath the helicopter is too much swing, and that's when you just need to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it gets too close to the turbulence of the rotor or at the tail rotor, then it starts to do some really stupid stuff.
Interesting.
So he's staying at like a pace of almost 45 knots or maybe even 40. It's slow going, but that's what they want out of it. It's even easier to come to a stop. I mean, if you're really good at it, you know, in real life, obviously, I've seen some people do some things with these cargo hooks that are just simply amazing.
Like the Christmas tree videos?
Where there's, plucking them.
The MD500 running Christmas trees where he's just dropping in the dude's palm.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Or the agriculture helicopter pilot that makes just a really nice 360-degree nose down, beautiful landing on top of his pad.
Oh yeah, I wish I could do that in this game, but the freaking ground effect bug on the raised surfaces is making sure that's not a thing.
Right. Well, it's always fun to practice.
Yep, I love coming in on surfaces and then immediately having the helicopter pull hard right like that. It's like, really, if they could just fix the ground effect bug and then fix the cargo people giving you directions, I'd be pretty happy.
Or have the multiplayer where we can have a second person in the aircraft with you and be in a situation like this where we can hear one another.
Oh yeah.
Or actually make the winch come out from the side of the search and rescue helicopter. Like put all of that animation into the simulator.
Oh,
Make the functionality. I mean, again, this is a very young sandbox, but it's huge. And all of that functionality is already built in. It's just waiting.
Look also.
What's it? Sorry, go ahead.
If the passengers for search and rescue, or your team, if they could also look for the person who's injured.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Holy
They have their own view. Everyone's got their own sector.
Yeah, I'm not a programmer. I have no idea how hard it would be to integrate this stuff, but I don't think it would be that hard. Hell, even if they don't want to program the people to tell you left, right, up, or down, at least use the EFB that's already in the helicopter, like the Hype 145 does for their
Yes.
hoisting.
Absolutely. There are icons on the map that show you where you are in relation to your target.
Yep. Because all the hoisting missions are just offshore with 0 reference points. And then the dude you let down the hoist doesn't even know how to swim. He just kind of gets drug around by you while you're trying to figure out where you're hovering at.
Yep, as they pay out 200 feet of cable.
Yep, exactly.
So what I'll
Oh,
do is
man,
I'll
let me
literally put the
drag
skids
this in.
almost in the raft. I'll get real close to it and just make sure that that diver is going directly into the raft, and then I'll come to a 30-foot hover. I'll pretend like I'm about to land on it, and I want to
Yeah.
make sure that my rescue swimmer is going to land in the raft.
Have you tried setting your hoisting up to controls to where you can hoist?
Yeah, doesn't work.
Yeah.
I know I did it in my certification mission where I was running the actual hoist, so I didn't know that would actually be feasible for the ocean missions.
Doesn't work for me.
Yeah, it's just you're reporting back. All right, let up the hoist kind of thing.
Even when you're inside the chopper on side of your controls. Wow, where's my camera at? It even has the option to turn the hoist on and off, and that does nothing.
Yeah, I want to say when I did my certification thing for hoisting, I said I didn't know what I would have to do since they don't give you any training. It's just like, here, show up and fly.
Yeah.
I was like, cool, do I need to do the hoisting? Do the useless co-pilots in here do anything? But I had mapped it to what I now have sim rate mapped to. But I was lowering and raising the hoist myself, which they were doing it, but I was also overriding whatever they were doing. I had that on my trim buttons on the cyclic.
Yeah, I've got mine on my throttle.
Because I don't use the trim. The trim's useless for me. My peripherals, the Apache simulators, 44 that I use, it doesn't self-center. So it's not like I can trim it out and stand up and go walk away to go do something. I've got to be hands-on with it, so.
If you're flying the 125, that is absolutely the case because this doesn't have an SAS system in it. You cannot trim this aircraft.
Yep. Like when doing the licensing for the Capri in the G2 or whatever. It was like, cool, trim it out. Do this. I was
Yeah, you can trim the Capri. Every other chopper you can trim. 225, all of it. Well, gentlemen, as I always like to say, it's been a blast. It's been a ball. SoCalJerry, thank you very much for the suggestion to come on out to New Zealand and fly. So glad to see you so early in the stream. Thanks for sticking around.
Yeah.
A
Thanks.
happy New Year if I don't see you between now and then.
You as well.
Thank you, sir.
yeah, nice meeting both
Happy
of
New Year,
you.
both of you.
Likewise. Really appreciate
Get
you
some
being
good
here.
sleep, guys. You guys
Don't tell me what to do.
I
Paseo,
recommend getting more sleep. How about that?
thanks for stopping in, Paseo. Really good to see you. Thanks for sharing all your awesome information. Great stories, man. Great flight.
Oh yeah. We'll do it again sometime, maybe next year.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds
It's been
good.
a blast. It's been a ball. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's all from New Zealand. We will see you in the next one.